type 1. It's pretty easy. Okay, so you guys can see my screen, right? So okay, so I have a source flat file, emp_ff. I have emp ID, name, debt ID, salary. Okay, I have 1 up to 10. Salary is 1000. I am told to track changes on this column and this column, debt ID and salary. Okay, so I'm told to track changes on debt ID and salary. So what's the first thing I'll do? So I'll import the structure of source. So what's the first thing I'll do? I'll create the structure of the target, right? So my source will be emp ID, name, debt ID, and salary, right? This will be my source definition. Okay, this will be my source definition. And my source qualifier will be the same thing. Okay, my source qualifier will be the same thing, right? So what would be the next thing? So I'm doing SCD1. What would be the next thing? Source definition, source qualifier.
Expression.
Okay, what are we doing in this expression?
MD5.
Okay, we're doing MD5. Okay, so I will have this columns, this column, this. I will have this column, this column, this column, and then I'll create an output port, and I will say debt ID. I will say MD5 debt ID MD5 2_char debt ID pipe 2_char salary, right? This is what I would have in my this is what I would have in my expression. Okay, next.
Abdul, can you please zoom in a little bit?
I don't think I can zoom in this. Wait. Oh. Okay, so I have source definition. So this is my source. Oh, I think I zoomed in too much. Okay, how do I make it go back normal?
Press Control and then scroll down and.
No, it's not working.
No.
Oh, here. Okay, this is too much. Okay, so I have source definition, source qualifier. In MD5 I will create a I'll create this on MD5. Okay. Okay. The next thing I'll do is what is the next thing I'll do here?
Look up.
Can everybody participate? Why is only one person participating? Okay, first of all, what will be the columns in my target? What will be the columns in my target?
Empty key, rest of the columns from source qualifier, date,
MD key, the rest of the columns from the source qualifier, Okay, and then
date, insert update date.
insert date, and then I will have update date, and then I will have
MD5.
MD5. That's it, right?
That's it.
So I'll have these columns in my target. Okay. So next thing I'll do a lookup on the target. And so I will, so which columns will I have in my target? I have all of these columns. So which one will I keep here?
Over there, you're gonna keep the empty key. You are talking about the lookup, right?
Yeah.
You're gonna keep the empty key, MID, and MD5.
Correct. I'll just keep these columns from the target. Out of all these columns, I'll only keep these columns. Okay. Now, what will I join on?
MID.
I will join on this MID, and then I will say IN underscore. Okay. Okay. I will join on this, and then I'll call this IN underscore MID. Okay. And now next, what will I have here?
The second expression.
Expression. And what will it be called?
Insert update.
Insert update flag.
Right.
Okay. What are the columns I have here?
I think you're gonna drag from everything from the expression first.
Yeah, so I will drag and drop all these columns from the expression, and then I will have MD5. Okay, and then what will I have?
Then MD key and MD5 from the lookup. We don't need MID from lookup.
Yeah, so we will take all of these columns, then you will take this one and
MD5.
Yeah, this one, only MD key and MD5 you will take from the lookup, and you'll put LKP in the front. You'll put LKP, and you'll put LKP here in the front. Okay. And then what you'll have, you'll create two output ports. One is insert O underscore insert flag, and then the other one, will be O underscore UPD flag. Okay, what will be the logic here?
The logic, if empty key is null, then if is null is null, empty key.
No.
LKP, empty key.
Very good.
Oh.
Same thing, but you have to specify. Otherwise, people would think when you don't put LKP, then they are coming from the source. Okay. So, anyways, I know you meant LKP. Okay. So if
we don't have the empty key from the source, right?
Yeah, you have to say LKP MD key.
Okay.
Okay. If is null LKP MD key.
And yes and no.
So you will say
yes, I mean Y and N.
Okay, this is our insert flag. What will be our update flag? If not is null, LKP MD key and MD5
is not equal to lookup.
Not equals to LKP MD5. Okay, this is my update flag. And then I will have a router. I will create two groups. Router, I will create two groups, insert and update. And I will have insert flag equals to Y. And then over here, I will have update flag equals to Y. And then I have this. I will have two instances of the same target. One is for insert. Two instances of the target. One is called insert. One is called update. Okay. Over here, I will map everything from in the router. I will have these. So what are the columns I'll bring out from here? I will only bring out MID, name, dept ID, salary, MD5, and this column. In the router, I will only have these columns. Right? In the router, I will only have these columns. Oh, sorry, you will have one more here. O underscore insert underscore update underscore date. And this will be, the logic for this will be sysdate. Right? And then you will take these columns in your router. Okay, and then you will remove the O underscore, you'll remove this, you will remove this. And then you will map emp ID to emp ID, name to name, salary to salary. Then you will map this insert date, and then you will map MD5. Where will MD key come from?
Sequence.
Yeah, it will come from sequence generator. Okay, and now you will have update strategy here for updating records. Right? In this one, you will say DD underscore update or 1. Okay, which columns will you take out from the router?
The lookup MD key,
Very good.
LKP, LKP MD key,
Yep.
and then depth ID salary,
Depth ID salary.
and the update date and MD5.
Perfect. So you will do this one and this one. Okay. This is our this thing. This is how SCD type 1 works. So in your source, if you have emp ID, name, depth ID, in the target you will have emp d key. Okay. In the target you will have all the columns from the source, and then you you will have, and then you will have insert date, update date, and MD5. So one up to 10, 1000. So if the record on day 1, if you get this data, how will you insert it? You will have 1, then you will have all of this data, and then insert date will be 7/23, and update date will be null. Either you can keep it null, or sometimes people will keep it 999 12/31, something like this. Okay. So over here you will have to create insert flag, insert date as sysdate, and update date as this one. Okay. You can either keep it null or this one. So I'll keep it null, and over here you will have something ABC 111 because you're concatenating this and this. So it will internally be loaded as varchar 232. It will be loaded as this. On day 2, Abdul's data will get changed from department ID 10 to 20. So what will happen? When you run the workflow,
it's gonna be updated, right?
Yeah.
The empty key here, the depth ID is gonna be 20. No, I mean the updated one.
It's going to be
2 read,
0.
1 update.
So on day 2, you will have this data, and over here you will have something different.
MD5 is yeah.
Okay. This is SCD type 1. Now, what will happen in SCD type 2? Same columns, emp, the same process, but you will maintain history here. For example, you lost history for depth ID 10, right? So you will have emp ID, first column will be MD key, then you will have all of these columns from source. You will have insert date, okay? You will not have update date. You will have end date, okay? You will have MD5, and then you will have active flag, okay? First change is, instead of update date, you will have end date, and you will have active flag, okay? Day 1, data comes in. So what will happen on day 1? 1, and then, okay, let's make this a string. On day 1, this is how your data will come in. You will have insert date as 7/23, end date will be null, MD5 will be ABC 111, active flag will be Y. Is this clear to everyone? No questions, right? On day one, this is what will happen. Day two, Abdul's binary changes from 10 to 20. The first thing that will happen is this one and this one will get updated. Please remember this. I'm going to ask after 5 minutes. And people will say on day two, this one will get changed. No. On day two, first, what will happen? This one will become 724. This one will become N. Okay, can someone tell me what will happen if any of these values change? Like literally 2 or 3 seconds ago, I said, if any of these values change, first one, this one will get changed from null to 724. This one will change from Y to N. Is that clear?
Yes.
So we get second row, which will be active.
Wait, I'm
Yes.
not done. I'm not done yet. First thing that will happen is this will get updated from 722 from null to 724 and active flag to N. On the same day, you will have MD key 2, emp ID 1, Abdul 20, insert date will be 724. This will be null. This will be ABC 123. This will be Y. This is clear to everyone. So we are maintaining history. In SCD type 1, we do not maintain history. In SCD type 2, we maintain history. Is this clear to everyone?
And although the same person get the second, like a new sequence number, right?
Yeah, sequence number is okay. Employee ID will remain the same. That is the reason you cannot create employee ID as primary key.
Because
This will be primary key. Now you know why we cannot keep natural key as primary key, right? We have to keep surrogate key as natural key. Surrogate key as primary key. This is your natural key because it's coming directly from source. This is your surrogate key because we are creating this on our side with the help of sequence generator. So is this clear? SCD type 2.
Yes.
Yes.
On day 3, Abdul's salary changes from 1,000 to 2,000. So what is the first thing that will happen?
end date and active flag.
Very good. So this one will change from null to 725. This one will change from Y to N. Okay, and then you will have 3 and this data. And then you will have 725 here. And you will have ABC 1, 2, 4, something like that. And this one will become Y. Is that clear to everyone? So we are maintaining history here. I have done this like probably.
And depth ID 30.
Huh?
And depth ID 30.
Depth ID 30.
We haven't updated
No,
depth ID.
depth ID is 20 only. Salary is from 1,000 to 2,000.
Oh.
Okay. So we are maintaining history here. So I did this 5% in the last 12 years. This I have done 95%. So this is more powerful than this one, right? So if I do select star from this table where flag equals to Y, then I will get, how do I convert SCD type 2 to SCD type 1? In this table, you can say select star from table where active flag equals to Y, then I will get this, right? I will get this. So this, if I had done SCD, so if you do SCD1, you cannot write data from SCD1 to SCD2, but if you do SCD2, you can you can get the SCD1 data by simply doing select star from table where active flag equals to Y. Then you will get the latest record. This is the latest record, right? This is the latest record. So you can just, with the help of this flag, you can convert SCD type 2 to SCD type 1. But you cannot convert SCD1 to 2. So is this clear to everyone?
Yes.
So over here, So over here, you're inserting data. Okay. On day one, you're inserting data, right? Right. You're on day one, you're inserting data like this. Right. Here on day one, you are inserting data. So you will have one instance of target which will only insert data. For insert, we'll have one instance of target. When something changes here from 20 to 30, if something changes from 20 to 30, what is the first thing that will happen? If I record any of the values changes, what's the first thing that will happen?
In data active flag.
Yeah. So this one will change from null to 724. And this one will change from active flag to N. So you will have something called as update, and that will be the second instance of the target. Okay. So first time you will just insert this. Second time you will only update these two columns, and then you do an upsert. You have upsert. That means you're end-dating this record and inserting a new record. So it's this one is update plus insert, right? So then you will have two, and then you will have this data. So update plus insert is called upsert. So you have to do, so you will have three instances of target. Okay. In SCD type 1, you have two instances of target. In SCD type 2, you will have three instances of the target. One for pure inserts, one is to update, and then the third one is to insert the record again. Is this clear to everyone?
Yes.
So, is it three different tables or same table?
If you're asking this question, then you don't know SCD1. Can somebody answer that?
For SCD2, that you were saying.
No, I am asking a question.
Okay.
In SCD1, would you have two targets or one or two instances of the same target?
SCD1, we only have one target.
Okay. Why would you have two targets? Can you tell me why would you have two targets? So you're inserting in one table and updating in another table, or you're inserting and updating in the same table?
Yeah, that's what I was trying to understand. So it's the
What
same
is there to
table.
understand? Tell me, will you insert in one table and will you update in another table? This is table A, and you're saying this is table A and table B.
Well, you have up there TGT1, TGT2, TGT3. That's what
I said instance of the target. I clearly said instance of. So, okay, forget about SCD type 2. In SCD type 1, do you insert and update in the same table? Yes or no?
Yes.
In SCD type 2 also, you will insert and update in the same table. I clearly said instance of the target, instance of the target, instance of the target. In this one, you will insert. In this one, you will update. In this one, you will upsert. Okay. So let's do, guys, if you cannot explain SCD type 2, you will hear a click. That person will not even say, thank you for attending the call today. You'll get a feedback saying that you wasted our time. Okay. That's how important this is. Be very thorough with this one. So ample SCD2. If you cannot answer SCD type 2, we will not even start marketing it. Okay, so let me create the same emp ID, name, depth ID, salary. Okay, so 1 comma Abdul comma 10 comma 1000. At work, they will drop flat file into this folder and they will say, please perform SCD type 2 on this. Okay, the first thing you will do is create the structure of the target, create table emp underscore SCD underscore 2. What's the first column you'll have here?
Empty key.
Okay.
And then the same from the source.
Oh, you have to give it a data type, right?
This one, of course, is gonna be number primary key.
Okay. Yeah, keep talking. Yeah, next.
Next, the same from the source.
All the columns from the source. Okay. MPID cannot be primary key, right?
No,
Because I showed you just now, because you will
it's
have the
natural.
same-
Natural, we cannot do that.
Okay, number.
Yeah, name, worker, number.
Okay, now what? We do the
Here,
same thing
I
with
think-
CD1 also. Okay, now what?
I think we're gonna have the end date right here.
Yeah, before end date, you need to have insert date, right?
Insert date, yeah, insert
Okay.
date.
So instead
Then
of update date, you will have end date.
end date. Yeah. So we're gonna have here MD5, right? Later than active flag.
Yeah.
Worker
You have a
32.
data type.
Worker 32. And-
Always.
And
And
active flag, I think.
Active flag. This is extra. We didn't have this in SCD1. So the difference between the columns in SCD1 and SCD2 is, instead of update date, you will have end date, and you will not have active flag in, because all the records are active in SCD1. Okay, so worker 2, 1. Okay. Let me create this table. Okay, table is created. Let me go to my Powercenter. So let me import the structure of the source. Make sure that this 15 OAID can be 5-digit long, department ID can be 5-digit long, salary can be 9 digits, something like that. Always make sure that it is bigger than what you're importing. Okay. Now I'll go here. I'll import the structure of the target. Okay. I will drag and drop my source here. I will drag and drop my target. Did you guys look at what Turab posted today? At work, they gave him a SQL and they asked him to convert it to a mapping. Turab, how much time did that take us?
Maybe 30 minutes.
Yep.
40
We
minutes.
worked for 30 minutes and we converted that SQL to mapping. Okay.
That was the simplest one.
Yeah, that was a simple one. So m underscore sample 32. Did you already load data and tell them that you did it, or
Yeah, I checked the source data is the same.
it looks good?
Yep. Thank you.
Okay, now first tell me, what's the first thing I'll do here?
The expression for MD5.
Very good. Guys, I
I
want
think
everybody.
we're gonna do the same procedure.
Same procedure, correct.
Yeah, at the end, we're gonna do the three in
Yes.
the same table we can copy it, right?
Correct, but a small change in the middle. Okay, but yeah, 90% of the process is same. Okay.
Oh, probably in the expression for the date, right? We're gonna change this ones.
No, we have active flag. No, 90% of it is same, but yeah. So yeah, MD5 and string, and this will be
32.
32 output port, and MD5. I'm going to track changes on. And Turab, you had to work on SCD type 1, remember? That time you shared screen. So he had to work on SCD type 1 also at work. So what was the problem? Why was it not? What did we fix that day? The MD5, right?
Yeah, yes, that was MD5. It was not getting updated before. You know, I in the update target key, I choose the
Oh, yeah,
source,
yeah, yeah.
but it didn't get updated in the target. That's why.
Okay, check record exist. How many mappings do you have to create? They told you to create how many for SCD2?
60.
Yeah, he has to create 60 SCD2 mappings. Okay. Okay. So I created the lookup. I'm doing a lookup on target, and I will have to check if the record exists or not. So I will join on natural key. I will join on natural key. MPID to MPID. So I'll get this error message. It says the employee ID and in MPID do not match. So I'll take the one coming from flat file. It's decimal. This is double. So I'll change this to double. Okay. Say apply. Say okay. I'm going to delete all the unwanted columns. So I need this for update. I need this to join with this. So this one is useless. This is useless. This is useless. This is useless. This is useless. I need this for LKP MD5 not equals to MD5. So I need these columns. So I will an active flag.
I think we can have in the future, right? We don't need now. In expression, we can create this one, then link to the target, I think.
No, okay. That is the small change I was talking to you to everyone about. Okay. On day 3, so guys, so on day 1 I inserted this record. So on day 1 I got this one. So this is slightly important. So on day 1 I inserted 723 and this is null. Okay, and MD5 and active flag is going to be Y, right? Is this clear? On day 1 I will insert this. On day 2 I'm going to do a lookup on target. Okay, so I have data like this one, Abdul, and then 1000. Okay, when I do a lookup on target, on day 2, this one changed from 10 to 20. So what will happen? This one, so this one will get end dated 724, and this one will become N, and then we will insert a brand new row 2, and then we will insert yes on day 2, and then I will have 724 null, and then MD5 will be something like this: ABC 1 2 ABC 2 2 2, and this one will be Y. Okay. Day 3. Okay, day 3. When I do a lookup on target for this MPID, I will return two rows, right? When I do a lookup on the target, right? When I do a lookup on the target, I have MD key, MPID, and MD5. So I will return 2 rows: MD key 1, MD key 2. This is MPID 1, MPID 1, and MD5 will be ABC 111, ABC 222, right? Is that clear to everyone? When I'm joining on MPID and MPID, I have 2 rows here on day 3. So which one should Powercenter pick up to compare if the values change or not? Should I pick up this one or should I pick up this one?
I think the second one.
No thinking. Yeah, you have to pick up the second one because this is done. This is closed. This record is closed. So you should only pick up this one. So how would you pick up this one?
Acting
You
flag.
can say active flag equals to Y. There are 2 ways of doing this. Either you can say go here and look up source filter. Either you can say active flag equals to Y, or this is one way of doing things. MD key as MD key, MD5 as MD5, active flag as active flag, MPID as MPID. From, you can say where active flag equals to Y. This is one way of doing things. So when you're doing a lookup on the target, you will only pick up this one, and then it will compare. So you will not bring in two records. You will only bring in the second one, right? We need to compare against this one. You can either do that. You can either do this in the lookup, or you can say pick up last value. Always lookup policy on multiple matches. So we are joining on MPID and MPID. When we are joining on MPID and MPID1, if you're returning multiple rows, you should always pick up the last row. Two ways to do it: either put active flag equals to Y, or in the lookup say pick up the last value. Is that clear to everyone? This is super important. Otherwise, you will start comparing with this row.
Yes.
Okay. So I'm going to just say use last value. In SCD type 1, it doesn't matter because you will always return one row. Your target will only have one row. You will, anytime value changes, only there is no end date, only you will only return one row only. But in SCD type 2, you can return multiple rows for the same MPID. So you have to say always pick up the last value. Okay, so I said use last value. Okay. Oh, so I can get rid of active flag. Okay, next I'm going to create an expression. Now everything will be the same. Select all. I will drag and drop everything. And from this one, I will drag and drop MDK and MD5. I don't need MPID anymore. So I'm going to call this as exp underscore INS underscore UPD underscore flag. So these are coming from lookup. So I'll say LKP underscore. Over here, I will say LKP underscore. I will create insert and update flag. INS underscore flag. This will be string 1. This will be an output port. Over here, I will type in if is null LKP MD key and okay. Over here, I'll call this as UPD underscore flag. String 1, same concept. I will say IAF not is null and MD5 can either say not equals to like this, or you can say not equals to like this. MD5 not equals to KP MD5. Then you will have insert end date. This will be date time output port. Either you can use sysdate or session. You can use either of them. Okay, validate. So if you keep this as, if you don't change this, if you keep this as string, it will give you an error message saying that incompatible data type. So the moment you see that error message, you should come here and change this to date. Okay, now it will not give you an error. Okay, now insert flag, update flag. We haven't learned anything new so far. It's the same thing. The only change was in the lookup, you will say pick up last value and insert end date. And instead of insert update date, you will say insert end date. Now, okay, you will create two flags. You will create insert underscore flag. Sorry. So you will say insert underscore active underscore flag string 1. Remember the last column we have is called active flag. The last column we have is active flag. So when you're inserting, it should be Y. When you're updating, it should be N. So when you're inserting the active flag, it should be Y. when you're updating the active flag, it should be, I'm going to hard code this to n. Is that clear to everyone? So when you're inserting the active flag, when you're inserting record for the first time, active flag will be y. When you're updating it, it should be n. Okay, that's it. And now we will have our router. You will take all columns except
LKP MD5.
very good, except this one. That LKP MD5 will only be used in the update flag. Okay, after that you don't have a use for that. So I'm going to call this as RTR underscore INS underscore UPD, and okay, so I will have insert update. Over here I will say ports insert flag equals to y. Over here you will say, no need to type, flag equals to same thing, whatever we did in SCD1. Okay. Okay. I have this target, so I'm going to rename this as underscore INS. Okay. So when you're inserting record for the first time, where will MD key come from?
Sequence transformer.
Very good. So it comes from sequence generator. Okay, you can rename this as SEQ underscore MD key. Don't even go here and make any changes. Okay, no need to make any changes. Minimize this. And emp ID name, depth ID is salary. Just map it. And then you have insert date. So insert end date, you'll map it to insert date. End date will be open. And then you will take MD5 and map it to MD5. Active flag. Which one will you take? Insert active flag or update active flag for insert? Of course, you will take insert active flag. Yeah. So this one. So if you want to see where the data is coming from, this one, you can say it is getting loaded as. So we are done with insert. I'm going to do Control C, Control V on this target. That doesn't mean I have two different targets. I have the same target. So look at this. Target table is ample SCD2. Target table is ample SCD2. But I'm just going to rename this as, because insert will happen through one pipeline, update will happen through another pipeline. Okay. So, okay. So I will have update strategy. Okay. So which columns will I take from here?
Then we're gonna take the LKP MD key.
Yes, this you need a primary key to update the record. So you should always have this. Okay. Now, which columns will I take?
Then we're gonna take a depth ID. No, yeah, depth ID, salary.
Nope. That's the reason I said I'll ask this question and you guys will give me wrong answer.
First end date, right?
End date and active flag. Only two things are going to be updated. Remember that. Remember that. So I will bring in end date and update active flag. Only the two columns will get updated. Remember? Is that clear to everyone?
Yes.
What was that? Clear?
Clear.
Now I will do Control C, Control V, and I will call this as upsert. Okay, so let me go back. So when this record, so on day 3, I get 30 here. So what will happen? This one will get changed to, sorry, see, even I'm making. Okay, so first thing that will happen is this one will become 725. This one will become N, right? And then what will happen? MD key. So pure inserts will happen through here. Updates, these two columns will be updated here. So whenever you have an update, you have an upsert also. So the record which is coming in with the new department ID, that will get a new MD key, right? That will be provided with a new MD key. Okay, so you will take the sequence generator next val and map it to upsert here. Okay, and then you will take, because the record is coming in for the first time, right? That record is going to get inserted. So here, is this clear or no?
So basically, we're gonna just take the records that need to be updated or everything.
Okay, so this is when on day one, records will flow through this. Only on day one, the records will, if the record is coming in for the first time, only then it will flow through this pipeline. Okay, if the existing record changes, the first thing you will do is you will end date that person, and then you will change the active flag from Y to N. Is this clear to everyone?
Yes, it is clear, Abdul.
Okay, the next thing that will happen is that row which the record which is coming in, it has to get inserted, right? It has to get inserted. So you will take from the update, you will take emp ID. So this one will be mapped, because anytime a record is inserted, you will have to provide a new sequence generator. So then you will take emp ID, name, depth ID. Okay, you don't need to take a person's name will never, it will always be the same, right? So you will take,
Yes, and emp ID it always be the same.
emp ID will always be the okay, sorry,
We'll
we're not
take a
doing
depth ID and a sale.
no, we have to take everything. We have to take, because we are not updating.
Yeah, because it's
coming in. It's like, okay, if upsert is like the record is coming in again with all the values. Over here, only this and this getting updated, so we are updating that. But record is coming in again with all the values, so you will have to take emp ID, name,
Everything.
depth ID, salary, and then you will take the insert date.
MD5 and flag, active
Yeah,
flag.
wait, let me do the insert date. Do one at a time, otherwise you'll skip those. So map the insert date, you will not map the end date, and then you will take MD5 and map it here. Guys, if you start bringing in LKP MD5, you will be confused. Which one should I map? So bring in only the columns which you have to map. Okay, then the active flag, you will take insert active flag.
Why?
Right? Because when you're inserting the record, change record, you will have it Y, right? Okay, that's it. This is SCD type 2. This is SCD type 2. Okay, let me create a map. First thing I'll make sure is this box is checked. Second thing, I'll make sure that it's data driven. Third thing, I'll make sure that this is stop on error is 1. Fourth thing I'll make sure is I'm reading data from the right folder. I'll make sure that the flat file name is correct. Then I'll make sure that truncate table option. Okay, guys, a lot of people will mess up with this. Will start unchecking this, checking this. No, don't touch that. Just make sure that the truncate table option is not selected. You will never truncate the target table. Otherwise, everything will be insert, because it will never find a match in the target, and it will say it's coming in for the first time. Okay. The other thing is give a connection here. Anytime you reference a database object, like I'm referencing the Oracle object, you have to give the connection here. Always make sure that it is saying use last value. That is it. This is SCD type 2. So if I run my workload now, So I read one record, and one record went through insert. Okay, so let me do select star on this. So one Abdul 10,000, insert date is this, end date is this, MD5 is this, active flag. I'm going to go back and change. Abdul he's no longer working at department ID 10, he's working at department ID 20. How many records will be read now?
1.
How many will go through insert?
1.
Zero inserts.
Why will insert be 1? I said insert will only come into picture when the record is coming in for the first time. Is this record coming in for the first time?
No, it's second time.
It's already there, right? Insert pipeline will only work if the record is coming in for the first time. Remember that. Okay, so read is 1, insert is 0. How many will be update and how many will be upsert?
1 and 1.
One update and one upsert. So what will get updated? End date will have 7/23/2020 for 1846 or 47, and this person's active flag will change from Y to N. That will be update. Then upsert will be MD key 2 Abdul 1 Abdul 20 1000. Insert date will be 7/23/2020 1847 47. End date will be null. This one will change, and active flag will be Y. So 0 insert, 1 update, 1 upsert. So 0 insert, 1 update, 1 upsert. So when I run this select star, see, Abdul's department ID 10 got end dated. New record was inserted, and this is because Abdul is no longer working at department ID 10. Abdul is now working at department ID 20. Okay, now let's say Abdul, his salary changed. So how many inserts? How many records will be read first?
1,
Okay. How many inserts?
0,
0.
Very good. How many updates?
1,
And how many upserts?
1.
Very good. So 1, 0, 1, 1. When I'm doing a lookup on the target, my target has two rows now. I'm doing a lookup on MPID and MPID, right? Right. I'm joining on MPID and MPID. So I'm going to return multiple rows. So which one will I return now?
Second one.
Why is everybody so quiet?
Second one.
You'll return the second one because
We set the last value, right? The
Yeah.
last value is the second
Yeah.
one.
Use last value. So we should never return this one. Okay, because this is done. We want to compare with this one if the value changed or not. Okay, so let me run this workflow. So Abdul is no longer has salary 1000. Now Abdul has a new salary 2000. So previous records got end dated. This is how you keep track. This is how you track changes on a person. Is this clear? Now when on day 4, when this record does a lookup, incoming row does a lookup on the target table, it will return MPID this one. It will return this, and it will return this MD5. But which one will I pick up? Either you can say active flag equals to Y in the lookup query, lookup override query, or you can just say pick up last value. Okay. Is that clear to everyone?
Yes.
Okay. Now we already tested insert and update. Now let's test insert and update at the same time. Now let's test insert and update at the same time. So how many records will be read?
It's gonna be 2 1, 1, 1.
Very good. Two red. One insert. Yasser will be inserted. Abdul will be updated and upserted. So 2, 1, 1, 1. Is that clear to everyone? If you don't understand that, then you're not clear with SCD type 2. Is that clear to everyone? Whatever. he just
Yes,
said.
it is clear. And Abdul, some people replying in the text message as a message too. I believe here.
Yes, I
Wasim, yeah.
don't. Oh, 25 messages.
Yeah. Over there.
Guys, you need to speak up. Wasim, why do we need to text you the ID and pass to join with phone every day? Do you see this? You go here. Do you see this? You ask the same question every day. It's in your meeting invite. Two read, one insert, one update. What is the same? You have to come on the phone. I cannot answer your questions like that. So I read two records. This one will be inserted. Okay, you did not. Okay, I have to go back now. So when I do, Abdul will get Abdul's the old. Now Abdul is working in department ID 10 and Yasser will get inserted. These are, so if you want to convert this to SCD type 1, all you have to say is where active flag equals to 5. So this is your SCD1 would have looked like this, right? Your SCD1 would have looked like this. This is clear. Okay, let me go back. Guys, this one is important. If you don't understand this one, you'll not clear interviews. Okay. So we tested insert, we tested update, we tested insert and update at the same time. Now I'm going to run this workflow without making any changes. What will happen? How many records will be read?
Read 2.
My question is simple. How many records will be read?
2.
Okay. How many will be insert?
0,
0.
0, 0. If you
Very
are
good.
changing-
3, 0, 0, 0.
Yeah.
Sorry, 2, 0, 0, 0. So because we only have two records, right? 2, 0, 0. No changes. So that is our fourth unit test case. Now, how many records will be read?
2.
How many insert?
0.
How many update?
0.
0.
Did you change something? One update, I guess.
I changed. I
No,
changed.
One update.
he changed the
Okay,
name.
then you did not understand
But we're
SPD1.
not tracking
If anybody is saying one update, okay. So what did I update here?
the name.
I updated the name, right, Irfan? Hello?
Yes, yes, I see that.
Okay. So you're saying there will be an update? Okay. Let me see. Why will there be an update? What columns am I tracking changes on? Am I tracking changes on name?
Yeah, no, department ID. Okay.
Department ID and salary. Only if these, what is MD5? All the columns which are changing, you're tracking changes on, those you will combine and put it into one. Practice, guys. Practice. 2000. No changes because you're changing a non-key column. Name is a non-key column. Okay, name should never change. Okay. So this is our fifth and final test case. So 2000. Even if you change the name, it will not get updated because you're only tracking changes on this one and this one. They'll tell you which columns you should track changes on. Is SCD type 2 clear to everyone?
Yes, it is.
So Rob, is SCD type 2 clear to you?
Yes, it's clear.
Can you do this at work?
Yes, I can do.
Okay, because I asked you, you said you didn't know SCD type 2 today, but you're clear now, right?
Yeah, now it's clear.
Okay, practice, guys. Practice. Practice.
What do they prefer at work?
It's most of the companies they prefer SCD type 2 because
We don't use SCD type 2.
yeah, it's by default going to be SCD type 2. He has to create 60 mappings. So 60 mappings means he'll be busy for at least what, 6 months? How much time did they give you to create 60 mappings?
No, I don't think like it's 3-4 months.
3-4 months. Okay. If it's a university, they'll say 6 months. If it's like a private company, they'll say 3 months. If it's a non-profit, they'll say 6 months. If it's a bank,
So
or
that means like one mapping a day.
yeah, kind of. See, you'll actually finish mapping within. You'll
1
actually
hour,
finish,
2 hours.
yeah, you'll
Yeah.
finish 1 and 2 hours, but they'll give you extra time because you will have to. It's not just your source, and you'll have to import the structure of source. You'll have to create the structure of target. Okay, then you will have to create mapping session workflow. You will have to test it. Right now, you're only tracking changes on 2 columns. At my work, we track changes on 75, 73 columns. Okay, you'll have to. They'll give you like so many columns on which you have to track changes. Okay, and you will have like so many columns, and then you will have to test it out. Okay, you'll have to create documents. Okay, you will have to work with the you'll have to work with the architect. You'll have to sit with business analyst and the architect and decide which they will decide. You'll have meetings and all. It's not just like, okay, here's your flat file. This is the structure of the target. They'll give you an Excel and say, this is the columns I want in the target, and this should be number prime. No, you'll have meetings and all. You will run into issues. Okay, and at work, the other thing, you will never take data from flat file. This we will cover on Sunday. You will never take data from a flat file. You will never take data from a flat file and load it to target table like this. Right? You will never ever do that. Right now I'm doing it, but there is a process. I'll cover this on Sunday. Flat file will always get loaded to a staging table. From staging table, you load it to SCD type 2. You guys know the concept of staging table, Turab?
Yes, layers. Yeah.
Yes, yes.
So it's just like if you have 10 columns here, you will load it here, and this will be truncate and load. You will never take data from flat file and load it to target table and perform SCD type 1 and type 2. Your workflow will have 2 sessions. First session will load data from this flat file and load it to the staging table. Second session, staging table will be your source, and then you load data into this target. You will never maintain history here. If you have 10 columns here, you will have 10 columns here. No primary key, no constraints, nothing.
Sometimes there will be 3 layers also, right? The staging area, then other intermediary layer, and the target.
Some companies might prefer, but 90% of the companies, if they give you a flat file, you have to load it to a staging table first. Once again, structure of flat file and staging table will be same. If you have 10 columns, you will have 10 columns here. This will be truncate and load. From here, you will load it to SCD type 2. Load it to your target, which is SCD type 2, where you maintain history here.
So once you load from flat file to stage, you are done with the flat file, not touching it again?
No, why would you? I didn't understand your question.
Okay.
You're loading from flat file to stage. On tomorrow, you'll get another flat file, right?
Okay.
You will load it into the stage. You will move this to archive. Day 3, you'll get another flat file. You load it to stage. This is truncate and load. Why do you have the staging table? Because if somebody says, can you look at the data, what we received today, you will have to open the flat file and check the data, right? No, it's better to look at the staging table. You can simply do select star from the staging table. You will see all the records which came in for that day. Clear? I'll cover this, don't worry, the staging table concept. It's very easy. If you're done with SCD1 and SCD2 and dynamic and static lookup cache, you're done with 90% of the training. You're done with 90% of the training. Okay, the others are like simple things like I need to show you rank transformation. I need to show you transaction control, XML, SQL transformation, HTTPS. The simple ones I have to show you. But if you're done with this, whatever I showed you, that's it. You're done. Okay, I'll show this concept on. So in your first mapping, staging table will be your target. Second mapping, staging table will be your source, and this will be your target. So this will be your staging table. Clear? Is this clear to everyone?
Yes.
Okay. The other thing, will you read all the records from the flat file? So for example, today nothing changed. If I run my workflow, I will still read 2 records and not perform any operations, right? Right? Should I repeat the question, or is this clear? Not clear? Say something.
Yes.
Change, yeah, nothing will happen.
You should not read records if they did not change. So if I run the workflow, nothing changed in my source file, but I'm still reading 2 records, right? Because I did not implement. I'll wait for the answer.
Sorry, can you repeat that?
About the incremental load.
Very good, because I did not implement the incremental load. So I shouldn't be reading unnecessary 2 records, even though there are no changes here, right? So you have to combine incremental load and SCD2 and error handling, and your source could have multiple flat files. So you indirect load and the list file dynamically creation, all of those things will be combined into one workflow. I think I covered incremental load. I'm confident I covered incremental load.
Yes, we did that.
So you should only pick up records which changed. Okay. You should only pick up records which changed. Is that clear to everyone?
Yes.
Yeah.
You know how
Yes.
to do incremental load. So I already showed you. I showed you SCD type 2. You'll have to figure out.
Abdul,
Yeah.
how do you plan out the setup? So let's say if you have the SCD2, who is involved in how we gonna plan out for our end goal?
At work, they'll drop the flat file. The source team will say, we will send the files into this folder every day. And your data architect, your team lead or your manager will say, perform SCD type 2 on this. You have to do it. They'll give you the structure of the target table, okay, because there is a fixed format for the column names and the data types. If it's up to you, you will create this as 20, you'll create this as 97, this one you'll create it as 15, right? To avoid that confusion, there will be a data modeler who will give you a data mapping document. You will receive a data mapping document which will have the source and the target structure, and it will ask you which one to make primary key, which one to make it number, which one to make. So they'll give you the table name, the column names, column data type, and the length. You don't have to worry about this. So somebody will drop flat file into this folder, and somebody will give you this structure. Here.
Yeah, that's clear. But what about when it comes to the workflow setup? Who decides what is gonna be in there? For example, yeah. Go ahead.
What?
For example, like just how you were saying the incremental load, we should have that in there. We should like who decides like what's gonna be in there? When you said
who is the ETL
team.
Who is the ETL developer? You are the ETL developer. Why should I read if I have 100,000 rows here? Nothing changed. Why should I read 100? This is still going to work. I'm unnecessarily reading 2 rows. That's okay. But why should I read 2 rows when nothing changed for those, right? If a
Yeah.
person is saying, I'll make your workflow run in 1 minute because I'm going to implement incremental load, it will only pick up the change record. Another person is saying, no, I'm not going to implement. I will pick up all 100,000 records. If they are present in the target, I will insert it. If it's present in the target and nothing changed, I'll update it. If nothing is going to happen, it will ignore. Are you not spending more time, more resource, memory and RAM and processor at reading these 2 rows compared to the other person who will read 0 and load 0, right? Right? His workflow is going to run faster. The other person's workflow is going to run faster.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So, okay. So this incremental load is decided from the attributes of the file, if it has changed its size or timestamp or anything.
Please watch the video for incremental load. Please watch the video for incremental load.
No, it's gonna pick up the latest value, and then based on that, it's gonna load the delta changes.
Please watch incremental load. I spent 2 hours on incremental load. If you're asking that question, that's scary.
And
You will decide on not
also,
on the size of the file. You will decide on the action date. In the source, you will have something called as an action date. Okay, I'm not going to discuss that. Please watch incremental load. I covered in depth because Turab had to do that at work, and I covered that in depth. So please watch the video for incremental load.
It is.
Next.
It is
Sorry.
14th video. If you guys want, it is 14th class video.
Yeah, everything is here. Like if you go here.
No, the videos. I mean, the recordings are 14th.
Yeah, no, I also mentioned that over here. If you go to the
Yeah.
class schedule, so you said 14th, right?
14th video. Yeah, the recording is at 14th.
In Powercenter.
Yeah, Powercenter recordings 14th.
So which would
Delta
be
and other ones, all of them in the same class.
4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Oh yeah, sorry, I have it here. Error handling. Yeah, incremental load here. Watch the recording I uploaded on 7/11 or the 14th. Sorry, I should have put the recorded. I mean, you can do that here, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4. Yep, 14 is the incremental load. Clear? I think for SQL I had how many? 11 recordings.
SQL was the 11 videos.
Very good. You also remember the 11, and then PLSQL I had 1, 2, 3.
4.
Yeah,
It was 4.
and then okay, let's move. What happens if the person has left the company? What happens if I remove Yasser from the flat file?
Target. I have to take target as my lookup.
My question is simple. I'm going to run the workflow. What will happen?
Oh, I just use the end date. If somebody left the company, I can use the end date.
My question is simple. I remove somebody from the source flat file. I'm going to run the workflow. What will happen here? What will happen here?
I think Abdul is asking how many is going to be inserted, how many is going to be updated, right?
Okay, how many it will read first?
If we have incremental load, will it read it at all?
No.
No, I think his question is that if the guy is leaving the company, the guy is gonna still in the table because it is the left join. We have to change the join.
Very
to
good. If
full-
Yasser has left the company, Yasser will still be active flag will be Y, right? What are you guys answering? Absolutely nothing to do with what I'm asking. If Yasser is leaving the company, if I run the workflow, Yasser will still be here. So 2 records will be read, 0 insert, 0 update, 0 upsert. right?
Yes.
1 will be read, 0, 0, 0. Okay. If I do select star, Yasser has left the company, but Yasser is still showing as an active person working in department ID 20 from this date, and he's still working. Abdul is also working, which is okay. But Yasser is also, it shows as active. How will I fix this?
I have to take out the lookup and use joiner.
Yeah, that's what I was asking. Okay, so I'm going to get rid of this. Very good. Okay. Next, quick. I have like 20 minutes. Okay, next, what will I do?
Abdul, you should call the target table as a source here. Then
Very
use
good.
the joiner, and then
Very
that
good.
link
Wait,
the whole.
let me import.
Use a quick.
Yeah, no, you're going too quick. Okay, so I'm going to import. I'm going to. Yeah, because
Abdul,
ample SCD, because my flat file is called as ample SCD2 also.
Abdul, can we use update strategy transformation and then the logic the delete?
Yeah, I'm going to do that. So I'm going to just rename this as SCD underscore SRC something, because I already have a source code. Okay, so let me drag and drop. Okay, so let me go back here. So, okay, so who was saying, okay, I did that. Now next.
Okay, so create the joiner.
Very good.
And then, yeah, create the
minimize
joiner, and then,
this.
yeah, minimize this source.
Minimize this.
Then
And
we
I'm
can.
going to bring in joiner here. Okay, I'll take all the columns from here. And which columns will I take from here?
So here we're gonna take the MPID, and we're gonna
start with this
okay,
MD.
yeah, MD key, MPID,
Mhm.
then MD5.
Mhm.
I think we're good.
No, active flag also, because we have to say pick up the last value in source qualifier. You do not have pick up last value. You will have to say, actually, no, you don't need this also.
Yeah, we don't need that.
Apply. Okay.
Condition, right? We're gonna
Now I will delete this unwanted rows. I don't need name, debt ID, salary, insert date, end date. I need active flag. Why? Because I'm going to say active flag equal to y. Otherwise, I'll start picking up all the values, right?
Yeah.
Is that clear to everyone? When I'm doing a lookup, I only want to pick up the last one. Okay. Now these, I will say the columns which are coming from lookup, I will say LKP in the front. LKP in the front. LKP in the front. Go here, create a join, MPID equals to MPID. It will give an error message. So go back here, the one which is coming from the flat file, make it the same as double. Okay, and make this as what? Normal join. Lookup was left join, so left join will not work for us.
Full outer.
Very good. Full outer join.
Must full.
No master, you have to do full outer. So joiner, and what will I say? Check record exist. Okay. Now map the columns. So I will take MPID, name, debt ID, salary, MD5, LKP, MD key, LKP, Yeah, you don't need LKP MPID, right? From the lookup also, you don't need that column. So KPMD5. Very good. Now, over here, you will create a terminated flag, right? Okay, this is going to be string 1 output port. And okay, now tell me, what should I write here? Covered this for SCD1. Exact same thing which I covered. Okay, what should I type here? Quick. Okay, I'll give you a hint. Record is present in target and not present in source. Topic which I covered, you guys are not answering. Imagine in interview, they'll ask you topic which I did not cover. Record is present in target, not is null LKPD. Record is not present in source, is null MPID. I don't know what's so difficult about this. This is the opposite of insert, right? Okay, so I will drag and drop terminated flag. So let me make all the flags in one place. Apply, okay. And then in the router, I will create terminated. Over here, I will have okay, so when a person leaves the company, I want this one and this one to be changed, just like update, right? If a person leaves the company, I want that person to be end dated and active flag should change from Y to N. Same thing, whatever I did here. Control C, Control V. This will take care of terminations. You guys are lost, looking very confused. And I'll take this one, map it here. And I'll take the insert end date, date active flag. Okay, now tell me what's the confusion.
No, there is no confusion, Abdul. Just needs more practice, I believe. It's like clear everything, whatever you did, but
this one is opposite of this one. Record is present in target. See, I said if is null LKPMD key. Over here, I'm saying if not is null LKPMD key. That means record is present in the target and not present in the source. Anyways, so previously when I ran my workflow, nothing got changed for Yasser, right? See, when I run the workflow now, Yasser will get end dated, hopefully. Do I have to? No, no changes. So one record should flow to table or view does not exist. Oh, because I am, okay. So I am using, so what is my source table name? Because just because I renamed it, I just have to give the table name here. See, one termination now. So previously I had Yasser. Even if I removed Yasser from the company, Yasser was still getting no changes. It was no changes for. So now when I execute this, Yasser will get terminated. Clear?
Yes.
Yes.
Is this clear to everyone?
Yes, it is clear.
We did the same thing, right?
Yes.
We did the same thing in SCD1. In SCD1, it doesn't make sense. Over here, it makes a lot of sense. I think I told you guys, it makes a lot of sense in SCD2. Right? Now, if I run the workflow again, no changes. One record will be read. No zero insert, zero update. No changes. Okay. Now, if I insert 3 Sam, actually, this is the assignment question. Sam 33,000. So so now it will work the same way. So one insert because record is coming in for the first time, right? Sam is coming in for the first time. No changes for Sam is coming in for the first time. Now, if I remove Abdul from the company, so one termination. So Abdul got terminated as well. Is that clear? So the moment you use joiner, your workflow will get slower. Your workflow will be slow. So you should use a sorter here, and sort on the columns on which you're joining. So I'm joining on empid and empid. So I should use 2 sorters, make the smaller table as master, bigger table as detail, and check this port sorted in.
Input.
Now you see how your mappings are getting bigger, right? So this, get rid of this, get a sorter. Sort on ascending. Yeah, that's good. And sort on empid ascending. But this one, you actually don't need a sorter because you can sort it internally here, right? You can sort it in, you can write an order by statement, but that's okay. See, mappings are getting bigger. So this will give better performance when you have millions of records. For like 2 or 3 records, it doesn't make any difference. So no inserts, no updates, no deletes, no terminations.
Abdul, do you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, can you explain the throughput row second, throughput byte second?
So over here, it doesn't make a lot of sense because you're
Yes.
only reading one record, but this should be really high. Okay, when you're dealing with a lot of data, this should be like 5,000 rows per second or 10,000 rows per second. This should be high. If this is slow, okay, let me show you. Since you asked that question, I wasn't going to discuss this, but let me show you. So Okay, so I saved this from 710 from 2 weeks ago. When you have a lot of data, right? This is from another. This is from another session. This is so you can look at. So how do you know? So this is a very important interview question. Explain about performance tuning. Okay, you cannot just take a mapping and start inserting sorters and make the smaller table as master. Okay, if you go to work, okay, somebody says, how will you fix this mapping? Okay, how will you make this mapping run faster? You have to first perform some diagnosis on it, right? Like the example I say, you go to a doctor's hospital, they don't put you in a stretcher, wheel you into the operating theater and they perform some tests on you. Same way you perform some tests on the session log here. So right now over here, you will not see this because you don't have that much data. But Turab, try this at your work. We already checked today, right? The busy percentage. So you type in busy and you hit next. I mean, find, you will not see it over here because we don't have that kind of data to read the busy percentage because everything is running within seconds, right? My workflow ran for 3 seconds. Session ran for 3 seconds. It cannot create. So when you're reading millions of records, you have to check for busy percentage. Okay. Powercenter will give you, session log will give you busy percentage for the reader, for the transformation or for the mapping, and for the writer. The busy percentage is divided into reader, mapping, and writer. Okay. So over here, how do I know that? So my workflow, this one ran for, I don't remember, it ran for a long time. It ran for like 30, 40 minutes. Okay, so how do I know where is a problem? Is there a performance bottleneck at the source? Is there a bottleneck at the mapping level? Or is there a bottleneck at the target? So session log will create your statistics for reader, mapping, and then writer. So first look at reader. Okay, your busy percentage is 0.05. So it's not even 1%. Okay, get rid of this. You don't even need to look at this. Let's come to target. Okay, your target was busy for 1.1. Your target busy percentage was 1.1%. Ignore this. Why was my mapping running longer? So if you look at the transformation, see, my busy percentage was 99%, which is very high. It shouldn't be 99%. So in my mapping, I have lookup, expression, and lookup. Lookup busy percentage was 0.46. Lookup busy, the other lookup had busy percentage 0.46. My expression had 99%. 99% of 431 seconds. 99% of 431 seconds is how much? It's 430 seconds. So 430 seconds is 7 minutes, right? So my expression was busy for 7 minutes. Okay, so now we know that we need to fix this. We need to fix the expression. Is that clear? How to figure out where the problem is you cannot say, oh yeah, give me mapping, I'll start inserting sorter, I'll make sure filter is closer to target, I'll make sure you're using bulk load, I'm going to write pre and post SQL, my commit interval will be high, I will make sure that I'm doing push down optimization. No, first check. See, in this mapping I had lookups, targets, everything, source qualifier, sorter, filter. But how do I know where is a problem? You have to isolate the problem from between the source, target, and mapping, which has hundreds of transformations. You have to first isolate where the problem is and then work on this. So over here, it said expression was 99% busy for 431 seconds. 99.06, probably 429 or 430 seconds. This is like over 7 minutes, the expression was busy. Clear?
Yes, it's clear. But I'm sorry, Rami. Go ahead.
No, go ahead, Trap. I'll ask later.
Okay, so I was gonna say, what was wrong with the expression null check? It was about
So The funny thing is there was nothing wrong. So the next day it started running for the normal seconds. The next that day, all sorters were taking long time. See, this is from another mapping. This is department budget deduction, and this is from department budget, and this is from. So we looked at another mapping. Even that one had expression busy. So usually, right, whenever you use an expression, there is a cache created. There is a cache file created. I mean, we didn't get a chance because the next day it started working fine. So. So cache files are normally created and deleted before the session runs. Okay.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah. So while it was creating the cache, it maybe this folder was full or it had difficulty reading here. So that's so when did I run the last one? 724. Okay. So whenever you run, so sort of.
Maybe someone touched the tracer levels.
No. So a tracing level, no. See, so whenever you create a sorter, there is a cache created. Okay, let me try to see. Because see, this one is so small. Creating joiner cache on master relation. So always create a joiner cache on the master table. See, joiner check exists. So on the joiner, you create a cache. Okay. Sorter transformation has a cache. Okay, so that cache is immediately created. See, all these cache are created, and before the session completes, they're all deleted. Over here, you will see deleting cache, deleting cache. Where is that? See, my busy percentage says it was the total runtime was insufficient. If you have if your workflow is running for the first a long time, you will see this. So, 1 second. You will see all the cache files are deleted. Okay, somewhere over here, you will see cache deleted before deleting cache. Okay. Okay, I'm not seeing it. I'll show that to you guys when we do persistent and then. So maybe when it was creating a cache here, it was maybe this system was full, lot of workflows were running and it couldn't create a cache here. So maybe that's the reason it could have been. But the next day that problem went away. Okay. If it's a problem with the source and target, then you have to start creating indexes here and you have to start using filter transformation right now. If you're not using a filter transformation, you're pulling in all the records, right? So don't use a sorter like this, use the sorter inside. Don't use joiner transformation. But if you have to do full outer join, you have no other option but to use joiner transformation, right? So do incremental load. You shouldn't pull in all the records every day. You should only pull in the records which changed, right? So these are the different steps you take, but don't start saying that put joiner, put sorters before joiner, sort on the columns. No, first get the busy percentage, check where the problem is. Is there a problem with the source? If the bottleneck is with the transformation, is the bottom. Look at the busy percentage. If the busy percentage is low, ignore. Busy percentage is high. Busy percentage is low for lookup, ignore. Busy percentage is low for lookup, ignore. Busy percentage is high for this expression. Okay. Look at the other thing. Unsorted input found when building the cache for lookup transformation. Okay. So this is not a good thing. For optimal performance, use sorted input. So whenever you're feeding data to joiner, whenever you're feeding data to lookup, always make sure the data is sorted. I told you, right? When you're feeding data to lookup, make sure that make sure that it is, where is my lookup? Whenever you're feeding data to lookup, see, I used a sorter here. Whenever you're feeding data to a lookup, because this is the lookup table on which you're joining, it will already do an order by some column. Okay, but make sure that you're joining on this one and this one. You're joining on depth ID and depth ID. This depth ID will already be sorted because lookup will always sort data on the columns on which you're joining, but the source data should also be, otherwise it will do like a full table scan. This depth ID will go from top to bottom in this table and check where that depth ID 10 is. Okay, if you sort it and say, okay, it is already sorted, it won't do like top to bottom, it will not go and check. Okay, if you use sorter before lookup, then you will not see this error message. I mean, not, this is a warning. You can ignore warnings, but yeah. Is that clear to everyone?
Yes, it's clear. Abdul, let's say if we have a complex query in the source qualifier and then it takes a lot of time to run. So how are we going to see the busy percentage?
It will show in the session log, it will show.
I mean, Abdul, my question also was that, like, I'm sorry, this the busy percentage that, you know, this text message stuff, right? It is in the session log that you copied and paste here, or?
Yeah.
This is session log.
This is from the session log. Yeah.
Okay.
You just go to your session log and type in busy, but when my session has very less data, it will not say, it will say the runtime was very low to gather the session statistics. Okay, what was the other question? Somebody said source qualifier has a lot of queries.
Yes, has a lot of, I mean, it takes a lot of time to run the workflow, right? So when you check,
when something is running longer in source qualifier, that means at the database level, you have to do some indexing. Whatever is executing in source qualifier is actually executing in the database, right? Whatever is executing here in the source qualifier, this is like SQL developer. This thing, and this thing is the same. If something is running slow here, that means the tables do not have indexes on them. So it could be two things. Tables do not have indexes. And the other thing is the data is a lot. If data is more like 20 million, 30 million records, it's going to take long. So try to create indexes at the source, at the database, at the tables level. You have two types of indexes, right? Bitmap and B-tree. You have to create indexes. And then on the columns in which you're joining and also on the wait statement, and try to use wait statement in your source qualifier. Try to use where statement in your source qualifier.
Okay, but for the indexes, we have to ask the DBA, right? Or create by ours.
No, you have to create indexes. We covered indexes in detail.
Yeah, I can do it, but you know, like some tables, I don't think we can touch the structure.
Okay, if you don't have access, then you'll have to ask your DBA. Okay, they'll create indexes, but usually you have to tell them which table to create indexes. Okay, and then you also have to do incremental load. Make sure that you're doing incremental load. If you're not doing incremental load, you're picking up everything every day. So make sure, where is my incremental?
Yes, Abdul?
Yeah.
Yes. So, I mean, it's every time when data rows are so many rows, so it's a good practice that every time at the database level, we create the indexing and make an index and sorter always to be before take to the informant out to the Powercenter, and if we do at the database level, so it's good practice. I mean,
you're confusing two different things. You're confusing two different things. He said his source qualifier is taking a long time because it has multiple tables there and it's joining multiple tables there. So I said, so whatever executes in the source qualifier executes here. Okay, so I said, if you're joining multiple tables here, you have to create indexes on the columns on which you're joining and also on the columns on which you're using in the wait statement. Otherwise, it will do a full table scan. Remember, we discussed that? Full table scan and everything.
Right.
So, no, I don't think you remember. So
actually, I'm just asking the question beside that, that like, I mean.
So if the source
it's better to do indexing also, you know.
If the source qualifier is running longer, that means you don't have indexes at the database level, because whatever executes, if you're joining multiple tables here and it's running slower, then you would have to create indexes here. Okay. The other thing is, make sure that you're doing incremental load. Don't read all 1000 rows every day. Only read the rows which change records.
Start with the incremental load. Okay, gotcha.
Okay. The other thing is, don't just do select star on the table. Okay. You have to bring in only a small subset. Don't bring in everything every day. Right. If you have 1 million records, don't bring in all 1 million. There should be a reason why you're bringing in 1 million. Okay, out of those 1 million, you should only bring in the change records. If you have 20 million change records every day, then there is nothing you can do. There is nothing you can do. The workflow will run faster. So at that time, you can just create indexes and just do some performance tuning at the database level. Okay, the other thing you can do, who asked this question?
Yes, I have.
No, before that, who? A source qualifier?
Qualifier? Yes, Turab.
Turab, the other thing you can do is you can create partitions. Okay, partition is a paid feature. We will not see partitions option to create partitions here, but you will have to create partitions. Okay, so what is partitions? Right now when my workflow is running, I have one reader and one writer thread. Okay, if you create partitions like 4 reader and 4 writer, your workflow will run 4 times faster. But you need to have a license for that. I'm sure at your work, when you go to your mapping next to transformation, you will have partitions here.
Yes, we have it.
Yeah, so try to create partitions. Your workflow will run faster.
It's basically converting the mapping to the SQL query, right?
Partitions? No. Partitions means it will open multiple reader and multiple writer threads. It will open.
Yeah, I mixed it up with the push-down optimization.
And yeah, so yeah, unfortunately, I cannot show you here. No, this is 1 hour for partitions. Okay, guys, you have to look at this partitions. Okay, this is important. So I just want to show you one thing here. See, okay, this is the thing I wanted to show. See, your previously, see, look, somebody asked throughput, right? Your throughput per second should be like 3,000-4,000. Okay. The other thing is, if he did not create partition, only one reader would be reading all of this. Now he created 7 partitions. So each partition will act like an independent workflow. So it will read, it will divide. If your incoming data is 1,000 records, it will decide, okay, the 1 to 100 I will pick up, the 101 to 200 records I will read, and writer will also divide. Okay, 1 to employee ID 1 to the first 100 records I will load, second 100 records I will load, third 100 records I will load. If he was not using partition, right? So okay, so go to partitions and you can create partitions here. There are different kinds of partitions. There are 4 kinds of partitions: round robin, hash, list, and some other. So previously he did not have partitions. So I want to see how his workflow runs. So he runs the workflow without partitions and with partition. Maybe that's some other video. Okay. See, oh wait, sorry. See, previously he just had 1 partition. Now he created 7 and 7. 7 pass-through partitions. Okay, so there are different kinds. See over here, the partition types. There are different kinds of partition types. Watch some videos on this. Okay, there are 4 types of partitions. Okay, so unfortunately, that's the paid version. Try to create partitions, but partitions will not work on flat files. If your target is flat file, it will not work on flat files. It will only work on tables.
Abdul, which version are you using at work?
10.2.
10.2.
Powercenter?
Yes.
10.2. 9.6.1 got end of life 3 years ago.
Okay.
Okay, so
Is
see,
there any big difference?
source qualifier with multiple sources. You can, sorry, can you say that again?
Is there any big difference in 9.6 and 10.2?
No. 10.2 has a lot of big data features, but yeah, for us, it's no difference. It just looks orange and blue. I think even you're using 10.2, right? No company worldwide is using the version which we are using.
No,
But
we
you
are in the transition.
really? You
Yeah.
guys are using 9.6.1?
We still have a 9.6. We're upgrading to 10.2 and 10.4
I
you're
think
done.
you should change the company to Rob.
at the same time.
Yeah, tell them you are not good company. You're using old version.
I mean, we bought a lot of servers. We spent over $1 million.
Okay, so you can partition option settings when you configure partitions. So just look at, I mean, I don't know. Just look at the videos for this. Okay, they'll ask. So you can create partitions. Your workflow will run the number of there is a limit to. So right now he created 7 partitions, and his workflow will run 7 times faster. Previously, even just one reader was reading all these millions of records. Now it got divided into 7, so it's going to run 7 times faster.
Can you create this one reusable and you can apply to all the
No,
workflows? No?
no, you have to, for every session, you have to create one.
Okay.
Take a look at that. That would be the easiest.
I will.
If you're reading data from a flat file and loading to a.
And the push-down optimization also comes with the license?
Yes, push-down optimization also comes with a license. For example, if you. So guys, there is an option called push-down optimization. So over here, okay, we don't have that. So yeah, see this thing. So Informatica created this video in Informatica. So all the transformation logic will be pushed to database. But there is a limitation. You cannot use for DB2. You can only use for Oracle, SQL Server. So your mapping will simply become source definitions, source qualifier, and target. Most of the logic, it will push it to, see over here. They already.
Yeah, it converts all the transformation that you use in the mapping to the query and runs in a database level.
Yeah, so this push-down optimization, you do it full. You can do it at the source level, target level. Over push-down optimization. You can do full at the. So in the expression, if you have sorter way, or if you have a filter, it will just push everything to the source level only. This will become useless. See, none to source to target full. Okay. So in this, they are doing some L-trim, R-trim. So this will become useless. Everything will work here at the source itself. But you can do it only for simple mappings. You cannot do it for complicated. See, insert into table. So this is, it will convert your mapping into a source query, and it will run it here. This one is going to run it here. Insert into this table, and you're saying select from this table, cast as varchar, and then they did this. So they take whatever is in this expression, convert it to a SQL statement, and only this and this stays into picture. This one and this one becomes useless, even though it's here. So everything runs on the database. Please watch some videos. This one, it writes an insert statement into the target table by selecting something from the table. So this is like a stored procedure, selecting something from the table, transforming the data and loading it into the target. Is that clear? Like for example, in expression, you have a bunch of things. This will become useless. So it will take whatever you have here, convert it into a SQL statement and execute directly here and directly here. So only tables will remain into picture. But there are some limitations. You cannot do it on all data types. You can only do like simple. You can only do like simple. Can only do like simple logic. So yeah, so there are some limitations here. You cannot insert, select, delete, or update. Running targets, right? Source.
Yes, when you do the complex mapping, you have to go to the mapping and then fix it by one by. It gives an error, a lot of errors.
Yeah. So yeah, these are two different things which you need to, which unfortunately I cannot show here. These are all the transformations which can be converted to queries. Okay. Just read about this a little bit. Oh, is push to Microsoft SQL Server, Sybase, or Teradata is not a transformation. So you cannot do it on sorter, union. Push to is downstream. Okay, watch some videos for that, please. Watch some videos for push down optimization, and the other one is what did I say? The threads which open up.
Partition. Percentage.
Push down optimization. Please watch that. That is also part of performance tuning. Any other questions?
Abdul.
Yeah.
Okay, my question is that you said that at work you or maybe Turab also like you had an issue that one workflow runs, let's say 10 minutes, right? And probably there are like some partitions, let's say, or it doesn't matter if they created partition or not. There are some the sessions that goes on, and then that's why it takes long time, probably because of the expression or something else. Let's say that the first step of the workflow, on the cache, let's say, it has a problem. So this workflow is gonna go ahead 10 minutes, and then later then it's gonna tell you that there is a mistake, or if there is a mistake, it's gonna right away stop and tell that there is an error.
No, okay. So how a session log works is when you run a session log, and if it's a problem, if reader is taking long time, when you right click and get session log, it will say query issued to reader, and it will say waiting for data to return. So in the session log, if it's reading data and it's stuck there, your session log, the final line in your session log will say reading data from source. If your session log is stuck at a lookup, if you run the session log, if you open the session log at that time and go to the last line, it will say, for example, over here, if get session log, if your workflow was stuck at, where is the lookup? Oh no, there is no lookup here. This one will have a lookup. So if your workflow was running and it was, all the session logs will get overwritten. So for example, suppose it was stuck at somewhere. If you go to the last line, it would say, okay, this is where I'm currently stuck at. So you will have to take some action there. Okay.
And if we want, we can abort and then go ahead and then check and make some, say, push down optimizations, then again run it. Correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
If it's stuck at, if reader is taking long time, the last line, so this will be your last line. Reader run started. Okay. Or query issued to reader. Okay. Or reading data from flat file. Okay, or if it's stuck at truncate, this would be the last line in your session log. Then the next line, next line, next line. See, if it was stuck at lookup, it would say lookup override to create cache.
That means that
Then
it
you know
doesn't.
there is a problem with the lookup.
Right. Okay, it means that there is a problem at lookup, or it doesn't pass through the lookup, so we have to go to lookup.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it will stuck your session log. This would be the final. Only your session log will only have these few lines, and it will be this would be the final line when the workflow is running.
Okay.
Then you know there is a problem with this one, so you need to fix this lookup.
Fix it. Mm-hmm.
Abdul, my session was saying preparing for. Instead of succeed, it was saying preparing for. And then I went to the SQL and checked the tables. Everything was loaded. Like, do you know why it was like that? And I just disconnected.
Can you say that again?
It was saying that, like, instead of say succeed, it was saying that it's preparing for 3 dots. And I went
for 3 dots.
Yeah, and I went to tables, and everything was loaded perfectly. 2 times I just disconnected, connected, and run workflow. It started to they work normal back again.
Sometimes there is so much data in your session log. While returning data from integration service into your session log, the workflow would have completed, but the session log would still say it's still running. I had that problem.
It's not something that I'm doing wrong, right?
No. It's not something you're doing wrong. It's just that your Informatica server is so busy, even though the session completed, it is not able to say that the session is done.
Okay, clear.
Because sometimes that happens. That is network issue. Like your network is slow. It's not something which you're doing wrong. Okay. If too many people are running workflow at the same time, like thousands of workflows are running, your messages will be delayed.
Okay, thank you.
Good thing, just check data once before you actually reach out to someone. They'll say, yeah, this is just a one time. If it happens again, then let us know. We will take a look at, we'll increase the internet speed, or we'll increase the networking or something. But at that one time, they'll say it's okay, it's a one time issue. So guys, read about pushdown optimization and partitions, okay? Those 2 things, unfortunately, I cannot show you because we need a license for that. Okay, so do assignment.
We did the 11 last time.
Assignment. So we did 11, right?
Yes, we did the 11.
Okay, so over here I'm saying read data from 2 flat files, perform SCD type 1. Once again, I'm saying this is like assignment 1, assignment 10, 11, but this time we are doing SCD type 2. Then I said track changes on these columns. Bad records should be loaded to a flat file with the message. That's simple. Okay, just one question, guys.
Okay, clear.
Okay, I'll see you guys on Saturday then.
Have a good night.
Okay, bye.